making my coffee. I really enjoy my coffee, so I'm really into the French press. This is a French press. And those of you who remember I did ASMR, this is great ASMR, the pressing of the French press, and you need to get it just right. So I time it and I set a timer for 4 minutes. Excuse me, today in South Australia, I've got hay fever again because this is the place for hay fever. Hey, James, how are you? So I'm just going to, so I have hay fever today, but I didn't think you'd mind. If you want to get yourself a glass of water or get into a comfortable chair. Hey, Sharon, how are you? I was just saying that I'm making myself a coffee in the afternoon, which is really rare. So in Australia, it's 2:17 in the afternoon. And I was just saying, Sharon, I've got hay fever again. Hey, Angela, thank you so much. You might want to get a coffee, a hot drink, or a water and have a seat with me. I just thought I'd have a little chat. I loved your message too, Sharon. Thank you so much for sending me that message. Shannon, good to see you. I have to say, I'm really enjoying these little chats at this time. It seems that there's quite a few people around. I was just talking about the ASMR of French presses because I have a French press here. And oh, look at that. Look, you can see that the screen is not completely clean. You know why? Because I keep using olive oil with everything and putting hand cream on my hand. So I'm going to use a sock and see if I can clean the camera a little bit. I'm terrible. Robin, hello. Hello. Thank you. Thank you for saying that about my meditations. Everyone thanks me. I thank you because I started on a whim. I've taught meditation for many years. I started generally when my husband left and really enjoy it. And now, hey, New Brunswick, good to have you here. And now I love it. Not just the creating of, I'm using my French press here. I wish you could hear the sound. Not just the creating. Hello, Josie. Thank you. 12 a.m. Goodness. Feel free to get a drink and have a chat with me. I love French presses, not just because of the taste of the coffee, but the experience of the French press, the pushing it down, the sound, the turning on the kettle. You know, I love all these 1%ers. 1%ers, they're little soft things that add comfort to our life. Excuse the way I look. I really need to do my hair. I've been writing today. I love to write, and I've got hay fever, which I always have here. Corey, oh, lovely to see you. Lovely to chat with you. We had a great chat yesterday. Thank you so much. Bedhead Red. Oh, I'm so sorry. Did you get your degree? I hope you got your degree. Thank you, Kristen. Well, Kristen, we try and keep it positive. At this time, we get quite a few trollers. And I have to admit, I find it fascinating the way people that troll think. And I find it quite thought-provoking. As I keep repeating many times, I've been through something 2 years ago that was, I don't think I'll ever recover from. So I consider myself quite resilient, and I find the troll comments, they'll put something hateful, and I think, what? You think that's hateful? And I find it fascinating. I did something on Instagram today that you may want to check out. I'd love it if you do, about projection and hate. Oh, what are you doing, Bedhead Red? What degree? Hey, Jewish Queen. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm going to pour my coffee now, and I'm going to do it carefully because I often spill it. Don't you love that sound? Can you hear it? Oh my goodness. I love this sound. It's there's something so comforting about the sound of water. And the other sound I like is the sound of a jug boiling. Oh, that's just divine. I'll just put the milk in. Excuse me while I do this. I've got to focus because I can't afford to tip the coffee on the Instagram handle. My name, Lauren Ostrowski Fenton. It's also in the description. And I would love you to join me there, Melinda. That would be awesome. I'd appreciate it. I'm just going to pour the milk carefully because it's a funny table. It's a makeshift table. It's very easy to pour everything on my computer. Ah, Bachelor of Science in Biology and Human Services. Fantastic. That is awesome. That is just awesome. You'll have to let me know how you go. Good on you for the commitment. Coffee. It's I shouldn't be having a coffee at 2:22 p.m. I won't go to sleep, but I just love the experience. Suzanne, hello. I will advertise here. Please consider joining me on Patreon. I'm building more and more courses and workshops and Zoominars. And Patreon, as a side note, helps finance my channel. Jen, 41. Yes. So, Jen, are you in Perth? You're in Perth? I am in South Australia at the moment, and I'm going to stay because I'm in love. Yeah. Melinda. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I love to teach meditation, and I love combining cognitive behavioural therapy with meditation. You got through it? Oh, New Brunswick, yeah. I can understand the fear of wind. And it was a really interesting recording. Wait a minute, I'll just read Robin. Whoop. Oh, South Australia. Jen, you're in South Australia. Oh, I'm in South Australia. Jen, and you're in Perth. Is that correct? Jen Rich, you're in Perth. I'm in South Australia because I met Adrian online. Story, if you want me to tell you, share it with you. It's a good story. And I'm in South Australia. Thank you, Jewish Queen. You guys, you say something interesting, and I think I've got to talk about this, and then there's something else and something else. It's challenging. Do excuse my face. I've got terrible. I really suffer from. What do I suffer from? Hay fever. You want to hear the love story, Sharon? My love story. Okay, I'll tell you the love story. And I'm going to look away from the screen for a moment because if I look at the screen, my brain, I've got ADHD, as in I have ADHD. So I can't do two things at once. I really focus. I burnt my leg when I came to South Australia in winter last year because I was writing content and editing, and I really concentrate when I edit. And it was very cold. I put a heater near my leg and burnt my skin off, and it scarred because with ADHD, I focus on recording or editing, and there could be a bomb go off. I wouldn't know about it. Okay. All right. So where will I start? My parents died in, I'm gonna look away from the Jewish Queen. That's really funny, Jewish Queen. Okay, Suzanne, thank you. I'm going to look at my coffee now because if I look at your messages, I won't tell this story because I'll get distracted. I was diagnosed with ADHD. My mother always thought I had it. My brother had it, and I definitely have it. I was in Victoria, and as I've said before, I had 4 deaths in, I think, about 2 months. My parents died in a week, which was dramatic, sad, joyful, tragic, involved, so many words. And then something really terrible happened. You'd think that my parents passing on would be enough, but something else happened that has changed me forever. So after trying to process what occurred, I left Victoria and I flew to Port Douglas. Now, Victoria's at the bottom of Australia and Port Douglas is right up the top. Like, it is horrendously hot and beautiful and luxurious. It's like where all the really wealthy people go, and I thought I'll go there to have this healing process. And there was some symbolic reasons why I went to Port Douglas as well. And I went there and had Christmas and New Year's Eve there. And I reflected upon my loss, what happened to me. And I thought, I'm going to go back, get my car and leave Victoria permanently. So I flew back and picked up my car and drove along the coast up Australia. Now, I've been single. Oh, you're so lovely, Oksana. That's a lovely thing to say. I've been single for years, and as we do, I go on dating apps safely for all you people that are single, safely. And I decided to go Australia-wide because I thought I'm going to do something different. And I met Adrian in South Australia, and I was traveling up the coast. And I very quickly pigeonholed him into friend zone, just thought he was my friend for a number of reasons. And he's an introvert. He's very predictable. He works very long hours. He's softly spoken, very wise, has had a really difficult life. I'm looking away from the screen because I know I'll forget the story and become entranced with what you're saying. So we started to talk, and then we moved to talking every day for 2 hours. And I would find that I'd look forward to him finishing work, and I'd tell him about who I'm dating and what I was doing and everything in my life. And he just listened, and it became hours. It became a couple of hours a day. And during this process, the effects of my loss, or what happened, continued to affect me. And I stayed at really beautiful places in Australia. I'm going to look at the screen a little bit, but I want to finish the story. I went to Magnetic Island and I played with the rock wallabies. When I say played with them, you're not allowed to play with them. I experienced them. And I rented a house in Magnetic Island to help me cope with the grief and work out what to do. And my beautiful family came up and stayed with me. So my brother, Luke, his wife, my sister came up and stayed with me. And I kept messaging Adrian and speaking to him. And he's very deep and has a terrible story, as in he has a terrible backstory. And then I kept traveling up. I went into the tropics, the Daintree, Cape Tribulation, met all these interesting people. And then one day he said to me, I'm getting attached. I can't do this. And he stopped contacting me and he stopped receiving my calls. And I still lacked the awareness to know what was happening. So I thought to myself, oh, what's wrong? And I rang my sister and I said, something's wrong. Something's deeply wrong. And I realized it was the lack of contact. So he went about 9 days without speaking to me. And then he took my call again. And I just realized I've always had a type that I've liked, a type of person. And he's completely the opposite in every way. He's just like my sister. Wise, intuitive, caring. And that's not what I've been attracted to in the past. Anyway, me being me, flew to Adelaide and spent a week with him, burnt my leg in the cold. It scarred because I was editing and burnt it. And then while I was away, my brother looked after my dog, Cooper, and my brother left Cooper outside, and Cooper was left outside, and Cooper was terminally ill and dying, and my brother leaves him outside. There was a crocodile at the back of the house, and dingoes regularly attacked people and, not people, not so much, but animals. They took the neighbour's dog and ate it. So I was angry with my brother. I went back and I had a lovely time with Adrian. It was really beautiful. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, I'm going to really miss him. And then I thought, but he's not your type. I thought, but I really miss him and I miss the conversations and he's become like my best friend. So I thought, what will I do? So I said, if I pack up my car and put a few things in my car and I'll drive over and we can just see how we go. Because I couldn't leave Cooper alone anymore. I couldn't find anyone to look after him because he was terminally ill. He was incontinent. I needed a lot of care. He had trouble breathing. He had a kidney failure or towards kidney failure and heart condition. So the only way for me to see Adrian, if you can work it out, we've got far north Queensland and Adelaide and 31 hours driving across cattle stations. I said, I'll come over, leave my house. And the trip across from North Queensland to Adelaide, that is a story. That's a separate story. So if you want the story of how I drove across cattle stations, was surrounded with hundreds of kangaroos, seriously, not exaggerating, the beautiful sunsets, had a car accident, got stuck in a mining town with really interesting people. That's a separate story. Anyway, I got to Adelaide. I drove across Australia in my car and I came to visit Adrian with just clothing in my car with Cooper. Cooper came with me and I haven't left. So that's the story. So if you want the other story about what happened as I went across Australia, it's another good story. But Adrian is somebody I thought was the opposite to what I wanted, but he's the one I actually deserved. So there's so many things we could say about that in our life. Samantha, you're so lovely. I've been getting on these lives. These people keep writing, Grandma, Nana, Grandma. And Samantha, it's really funny because my first degree is anthropology. And in different cultures, Grandma is seen as a prestigious or affirming or complimentary name. But thanks, Jen, it was kind of brave, crazy. Jen, Australia. I didn't understand that driving, from North Queensland to Adelaide, I had to actually drive through cattle stations, with grids, and there was cattle, there was goats, there was so many kangaroos. Like, I didn't think it was possible. Yes, Corey, matters of the heart are complex. I believed I wanted the same type of guy I've always been attracted to, and haven't been happy. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I've had some great stories. It's funny, I was reflecting on this because you know how your phone sends you photos from the past to remind you? Sometimes you think, I don't want that reminder. So I've got photos over the last 2 years. Now, 2 years ago, something devastating happened. Now, I know you may say, tell us. I won't be. It's just terrible thing. And I have done things that I never thought I would do. Yes, Sharon, I've got some few stories there as well. Oh, you're so nice. That's such a lovely thing. It's because I would like to think that you're seeing into my soul that you say that. Now, what was I going to say? There was something I was thinking about storytelling. Yeah, it's interesting that I traveled up Australia and I had the most amazing experiences on the way because I would stay at cheap hotels. And at cheap hotels, that's where all the miners stay and the tradespeople. And they go outside to smoke in the car park and they have the most fascinating talks. And I met a lot of Indigenous people and I learnt about the culture and the land and I received a healing. And I had so many talks about people that had gone through adversity in the car parks. And it was just amazing. And I stayed in backpacking places. And in the middle of the night, we'd have these talks. And I reflected on it. And it's interesting. I believe I've had the worst experience ever. Yet I've been with rock. MTR, you are a legend. Thank you. I've been with rock wallabies. I've seen cassowaries. You should see a cassowary. I've had bird-eating spiders in my backyard. I've had a saltwater crocodile live in my backyard, at the edge of my backyard on the mangoes, calling out to its young. So not right in the backyard, to qualify. You're welcome, MTR. And I never would have done any of these things if I hadn't been through this terrible experience. And Google sends me my photos as it does, and it sent me a photo of my sister reaching out to a rock wallaby, and my brother Luke and my sister Camille, my brother's wife Anissa, and their son Luca would come and stay with me a couple of times. Giddy up creatures. Oh my goodness, the critters in Australia. They'd come and stay, and we've got so many good memories. So in my incredible loss, and it is a life-changing loss, I've hung out with really amazing Indigenous people. I had a date New Year's Eve last year with somebody training to be an Indigenous elder that helped look after Cape Trip. And he told me all about women's secret business, not about their secret business, obviously, about the culture of secret business. And I saw so many amazing places. Skincare, I don't use any. I eat really well. I use silica and coconut oil. I do use some skincare, but sort of haphazardly. Thank you. Thanks, Trisha. Thanks, Josie. Yeah, perspective. But Maggie Island, I stayed on Magnetic Island for a month, and I bought that for myself because I thought I've got to make some serious decisions. And the community on Magnetic Island in Australia is awesome, just awesome. And the wildlife and the heat and the walks, it's just been amazing. I've met the most fascinating, thanks Trisha. Yeah, I like coconut oil. Fascinating people. Yeah, it's just been amazing. So since I've had this terrible loss, I've met Adrian and we're really well suited. He's so different to me. So I'm really into fitness, weight training, meditation, and that's not him. Just enjoying my coffee here. Another time I can tell you more stories about the way up because there were so many interesting conversations. I loved there was a country place I stayed at once that had this incredible storm, and Australia has these amazing storms. And I got there late at night feeling really dispirited. And I met these elderly women. They're both elderly, and they were going out. And they said, bye, we're going out. And they came back hideously drunk, hideously. Like the car drew up and I was still getting stuff out of my car, and maybe it was 11 o'clock at night, and I felt teary about what I'd gone through. And they get out of the car. They would have been both in their 80s, and they fell out of the car, the Uber, drunk, screaming with laughter. And I said hello, and they said, you only live once. And I said, do you have a good time? They said, of course, we're blind. And they were so funny because they presented so much older. And in my mind, I just sort of thought there's a time of, life where you settle down. They were wild. They were just wild. And I was in this really cheap hotel, and it was kind of crazy and like off a movie. And then there were these women that were on the ground, drunk, laughing and laughing. And we talked, and it was just amazing. Yeah, I loved it. But I noted that the cheap hotels were more fun because people were more likely to say hello, more likely to meet in the car park where they could smoke. I don't smoke. I've never smoked cigarettes. But where people smoke, there's fire. Now, where people smoke, there's conversation. So I would go there. I'd pretend I was going to my car to get something. And they'd all say, come over. Do you want a cigarette? And I'd say, no, I don't smoke. And they'd just stay and talk. Yeah. Yeah, life is so interesting. Melissa. Yeah, life is so interesting. And I would have mentioned this so many times, so I apologize if you've heard it. But Dad's last 8 days of his life, I slept on his floor. And on the floor, like on a blanket on the floor, on the hard floor. Those 8 days, 8 days are the best experiences of my life. Watching Dad slowly pass, he stopped eating and drinking because Mum died. It was just magnificent. That is another story. I should probably honour that story in its own right, because nurses and different people would come in and visit and sit with us. I couldn't leave the aged care facility because we were in lockdown, so if I left, I couldn't come back. So we'd get Uber Eats, and the Uber Eats had to drop the Uber Eats at the door, and the doors were automatic, so I had to hold my foot, keeping it open, and reach out to the Uber Eats and then get in. And then my sister wouldn't eat anything. I ate everything and put on a massive amount of weight because I'm watching my dad struggle to breathe and I'm just eating because I couldn't help him. So I just kept eating, thinking, why am I eating when my dad's dying? And my sister would say, why are you eating when Dad's dying? It's such a surreal thing. If someone takes, yeah, I know, Skip. If someone takes 8 days to die, not that you want to rush it because we didn't, but you want to be somber and you want to be serious, and Dad's dying, this is really sad. Oh God, I'm hungry. Or I need to go to the toilet. Or I think I'll just read a book. And Camille would say, oh, I don't think we should read a book. It's not respectful. So we put the book down. And then we started watching some drama on, congratulations, Corey, drama on Netflix. And we were really getting into it, some American movie. And then Camille said, oh, we should turn it off because Dad's dying. And I'm thinking, oh, I don't want to turn it off. Camille was very respectful. I'm eating and watching Netflix. And Camille, my sister, hey, Mark, 4:12 a.m. I was, what was I going to say about that? I can't remember what I was saying about Dad passing and meeting everybody and the effect of that time and how it's impacted and how I kept eating. Thank you, Andy. I really appreciate that. I learned so much about life when my dad died. For someone to love someone else so much, he just stopped eating and drinking when I told him the news. And oh yeah, I shared with you that Camille stayed with us, and Camille, my sister's brain damage, so 30% of her brain's died. So she's got a very interesting way of using her brain. She's very intelligent. So she was with us. Slay. Thank you. In meditation, I'm really slow and I say, sit down or lie down comfortably and we'll begin. Thank you, Josie. So you're listening to my fast voice, Josie, and then you'll listen to my sit down and relax voice. Skip, it's so hard when I was thinking today, Skip, so obviously both parents passed. I miss them more with time. I enjoy the memories, but I miss them more with time. I think, what would Mum tell me today? I actually thought that. I had a moment of sadness about the loss, several moments. I thought, what would Mum say? And I could hear her speaking and I knew what she'd say to me. Good on you. Yeah. Thanks, Corey. Sit down or lie down comfortably. And it's like this switch. Now, you know the experiment, Pavlov's dog? Even when I hear it, I think, oh, I'm tired, I'm going to yawn. So it has the same effect on me. Thanks, Emma. You have a good weekend too. It's Friday, 2:46. It's Friday, 2:46. I don't even know how to do that D3RPZ YT. I'll look into that because it's a good idea, but I don't know how to do it. Moderator, I don't know how to do it at the moment. Ah, Tricia. Yes. Yes, Adrian is a smoker, big smoker, and I'm trying to redirect him. And I've set up a couple of guidelines. So if he wants to have a cigarette now, he needs to do 10 chin-ups. So I've got a chin-up bar in the backyard, and every time he has a cigarette, he has to do 10 chin-ups first to try and redirect the behaviour, the association of the habit with go straight away, have a coffee and cigarette. So now when he wants a coffee, he does 10 chin-ups and he's become really, really strong, and he's still smoking, so it's funny. Oh, Derps. Okay, Derps, thank you. Yes, I do. Yes, listen to Skip. Yeah, Andy, I agree. Yes. Stop smoking, says Jeremy. Hello, Charlene. Welcome to this group. Hi, Gianna. Gianna, is it? Tocha? Tocha Tegan girl? Yeah. Oh, Sharon, I missed your comment. They're so fast. Great people are great. It's so true. Adrian, I had high hopes for him giving up smoking. I don't know if it's going to happen. I am with Adrian, and I hope that we, where am I at? I've lost the... Do I like turtles? You know what? I love turtles. Where I was in Queensland, there was a lot of beautiful sea turtles. They were stunning. I adore turtles. Yes. Keep asking me and I'll keep saying I like turtles. 3 times, do you like turtles? I adore turtles because in life we should all each be a turtle. Slow and steady wins the race. Okay, turtle team. Now, what was it yesterday? We had Nathan the bug because a troller said I had a bug in my hair and I knew I didn't. And so I called the bug Nathan. Sometimes trolling can be fun. Yeah, sometimes. And trolling is also a metaphor for life. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just considering buying a dog. I'm looking at the moment. I'm considering a Great Dane. I'll take some time considering it. I'm not quite ready. I'm not quite ready yet. That's so funny. You're so funny, guys. It's like I love teenagers. This chat, it's like I've got a whole group of teenagers, and you have this group of teenagers getting out of control, and you think, what'll I do? I'll order a whole lot of pizza. Who wants pizza here? Thank you. Do I like frogs? I'll tell you a story about a frog. When I was in North Queensland, feeling sad, and Cooper was incontinent. He needed to go to the toilet all the time. And outside, we had dingoes, and we had that crocodile at the bottom in the mangroves. And I had to take Cooper to the toilet. And I knew I had to go with him because the dingoes would just take him. So they took the neighbour's dog. So I'd stand out, and I was a little bit scared in North Queensland because of all the critters. And so Cooper was going to the toilet, and then he's like transfixed, like a whippet's nose, transfixed and looking shocked. And I looked, and there was a cane toad. You should look up cane toad. They're massive. And we were both like a little bit tentative going out in the night. And then we're like, oh my God, this toad is huge. How could a toad be so big? It was like this. And we're like, and stared at it and thought it was amazing. Thank you. Honoured to be your profile picture. I'm not saying everyone's a teenager. I'm using a metaphor. A metaphor is a symbol for something else. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to finish my coffee. Yeah. Oh, you're so lovely. I'm going to finish my coffee. Yes, the toads are poisonous, but I chose not to eat him. You know, I do occasionally eat the odd toad here or there. That's a metaphor for my dating life. But yeah, this was a poisonous toad, cane toads. Mishi, I'm Australian. Okay, I'm going to go. Thank you, Trisha. I'll speak to you again. Remember, you are okay. Remember, you are not the label someone else gives you. When somebody uses a label, they are purely and simply talking about themselves. You are not the opinion of another person, and you have incredible resilience, the ability to get over anything. You do. I'm not saying it's pleasant. It's possible. I'm going to talk to you soon, guys. Mwah. Happy birthday.